Hey, okay, before we even start, I need everyone listening to know that he made me promise I wouldn't ask him his exact salary on air, which ironically is the perfect way to begin today's episode.
You set me up. You absolutely set me up.
I did, a little. Welcome back to the public living room, everyone. I'm Mary, and if this is your first time joining us, pull up a seat, kick off your shoes. This is the kind of show where we talk about the things you usually only talk about at 1 a.m. with someone you trust. Today, I'm sitting across from my friend Daniel. Daniel, introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And most importantly, what did you have for breakfast?
I'm Daniel. I work in finance, which is going to be very relevant in about 30 seconds. I'm 34, and breakfast was a sad protein bar in the car, so judge accordingly.
A man in finance who eats a protein bar in the car? There's a whole TikTok genre about you.
I am the genre.
Okay, so today's question, and I've been sitting with this one for weeks because it came up in a conversation with a friend who'd just gotten engaged. At what point in a relationship should you show someone your bank account? Not talk about money, not split the bill. I mean the actual number, the screenshot, the full picture.
Yeah, that's a different question, isn't it?
It's a completely different question. And I want to be honest with everyone listening. Daniel and I disagree on this. Not violently, but enough that when he told me his answer, I went, wait, what? And he said the same thing back to me.
I think I said, Mary, that's insane.
You did. You said exactly that. So I figured let's just do it on air. Let people listen in. Because I think a lot of couples are having this fight in their kitchen and not knowing how to have it. So you go first. What's your position?
Okay, my position, and I'll caveat this comes partly from working in finance and seeing what I've seen. My position is that you show your bank account when you're combining your life with someone, not before.
Okay.
So for me, that's the engagement conversation, not the wedding, the engagement. The moment we sit down and say, we're doing this, that's when the books open. Both sides, full disclosure. Debts, assets, salary, the embarrassing credit card from when I was 23, everything.
Engagement, not before.
Not before.
See, this is where I get stuck, because by engagement, you've already chosen.
You've chosen the person. You haven't chosen the partnership yet.
Okay, say more about that, because I want to make sure I'm not strawmanning you.
So the way I see it, there are layers in a relationship. There's chemistry, there's compatibility, there's character. And money, in my view, lives somewhere between compatibility and logistics. It's not a moral test, it's a logistics question. And logistics questions belong at the logistics stage. If I show you my bank account on date 5, what am I really doing? I'm either bragging or I'm warning you. Both of those are weird.
Bragging or warning. That's a good line.
It's true, though. Like, what's the function of showing it? If I show you and the number is high, I've now introduced a variable into how you see me. If I show you and the number is low, I've made you do math about my future before we've even decided we have one. Either way, the number's doing the talking instead of me.
Okay, that's actually compelling. But here's where I push back. I think you're treating the number like it's just a number, and I don't think it is. I think a bank account is a story.
Go on.
It's a story about how someone was raised. It's a story about how they handle stress. It's a story about whether they think in weeks or in decades. And I want to read that story way before engagement.
Right?
Not the exact figure. I don't need to know you have, $47,832 in your account. But I want to know the shape of your relationship to money. And I think you can only really get that when someone shows you something concrete. Otherwise, people just tell you the version of themselves they want you to see.
Okay, but that's where I'd say you can get the shape without the screenshot. You can ask, how did your parents handle money? What did you do with your first paycheck? What's the dumbest thing you've ever bought? That tells you the story. The number doesn't.
That's fair. That's actually really fair. But, okay, let me put it this way. I dated someone once who told me beautiful stories about money. He said all the right things. He grew up modestly, he valued saving, he didn't believe in flashy spending. Lovely. 8 months in, I found out he was about $200,000 in debt.
Oh, wow.
Not because he lied, because he genuinely believed his own story. And the number would have told me what the story couldn't.
Yeah, okay, that's a real one.
And it wasn't even about the money for me. It was about he didn't know himself, and the bank account knew him better than he knew himself.
That's actually a beautiful way to put it. The bank account knew him better than he knew himself.
I think bank accounts are honest in a way people aren't always able to be. Not because they're lying, because we all have blind spots about money, every single one of us.
Okay, but counter, if we accept that bank accounts are honest in a way people can't always be, doesn't that mean showing it early is asking someone to be more vulnerable than they're capable of being? You're asking them to hand you a document that contradicts the story they tell themselves.
Oh.
Right?
Okay, that's good. That's really good. Hold on. This is why I do this podcast. I came in with an opinion, and you just, yeah.
I'll send you an invoice.
Of course you will. You're in finance. Okay, so let me try to steelman your position even harder because I think we're getting somewhere. You're saying early disclosure is actually a kind of pressure. It forces a conversation the relationship isn't ready to hold.
Exactly. Think about it. If we're 3 months in and I show you my account and it's healthy, what do you do with that information? Some part of your brain, even if you don't want it to, files it away. And if it's unhealthy, same thing.
Right.
Now, we're not just dating. We're dating plus a financial subtext. And 3 months isn't enough relationship to carry that subtext.
Right. The relationship doesn't have the muscle yet.
It doesn't have the muscle. Exactly.
Okay, and this is my real position, I don't think you need to show the account. I think you need to show the behavior, and the behavior shows up way before engagement.
Okay.
Like, I know what someone earns within a reasonable bracket if I've watched how they live for 6 months. I know if they're saving. I know if they're stressed about rent. I know if they panic spend when they're sad. I know if their parents bail them out. And by the time we're talking about, I love you, where is this going, I think both people should be able to put rough numbers on the table, not the screenshot, the shape.
So you're not actually that far from me. You're saying the shape early, the number at engagement.
I think I'm saying the shape early. The number when the relationship has the muscle to hold it. And for some couples, that's engagement, but for others, it's 6 months. And for others, it's 2 years.
Okay, I can live with that.
Wow, did we just agree?
Don't get used to it.
Okay, but here's where I want to push you, because I think there's a thing men don't always say out loud in this conversation. Can I say it?
Go.
I think part of the reason men want to wait until engagement is because they're scared of being seen as a wallet. And I think part of the reason women want to know earlier is because they're scared of being seen as a dependent. And both of those fears are real, and we don't talk about them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true on my side anyway. I won't speak for every man, but for me, yeah, I've been in situations where I felt like the number was doing the dating, and it's a horrible feeling. You don't know if she's there for you or for the version of life you can offer her.
And I've been on the other side of that, where I felt like asking about money would make me look like I was calculating, like I was running a spreadsheet on the relationship. And I wasn't. I just wanted to know if we were building the same future or 2 different ones.
Right, because 2 people can love each other deeply and want completely different financial lives.
Yes, that's the thing nobody says. Love doesn't fix financial incompatibility. It just delays the fight.
That's going on a t-shirt.
Okay, I want to ask you something a little more personal. You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but has there been a moment in your own life where money and love collided, and what did you learn from it?
Yeah, there was. I'd just gotten a promotion, significant one, and I didn't tell the person I was dating for almost 2 months.
Why?
Because I wanted to know if she'd notice me being happier without knowing why, which in retrospect is a kind of test, and tests are not a great foundation for a relationship.
No, they're not.
And when I finally told her, she was hurt, not because I'd kept the promotion from her, because I'd kept me from her. She said something I've never forgotten. She said, "I don't care what you earn. I care that you didn't trust me with your good news."
Oh, that's a knife.
It was a knife.
And I think that was the moment I realized the conversation about money isn't really about money. It's about whether you trust the other person with your full self, the good and the scary.
Yeah.
And that actually shifted my view a little, even from where I started this conversation. Because if I'd shown her a bank account at engagement, but I couldn't share a promotion at 6 months, what was I really protecting?
That's a beautiful thing to say. And I think it gets at why I feel so strongly about this. For me, showing financial reality isn't about logistics. It's about, can I be a whole person in front of you? Can I be the person who has debt, or the person who saved a lot, or the person who's scared about retirement, or the person whose parents need supporting? Can I bring all of that into the room?
Right.
Because if I can't, we're not in a relationship, we're in a performance.
Yeah,
And performances are exhausting.
they are. My ex once told me I treat my finances like a locked drawer. And I thought that was a compliment for a long time. I was like, yeah, they're private. And then later I realized she didn't mean it as a compliment. She meant you treat me like someone you have to lock things away from. And I think a lot of people, men especially, but not only men, confuse privacy with intimacy. They think being private is being mature, but sometimes it's just being closed.
Yeah, there's a difference between being private and being walled off.
Big difference.
Okay, I want to try something. Can I throw some scenarios at you and you tell me what you do? Real life ones, the kind people DM us about.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, scenario 1, you're 3 months in, you really like her, she asks you casually over dinner, so what do you do with your money? Are you a saver or a spender? Do you tell her the truth?
Yes. Without numbers, but yes. I'd say I'm a saver. I've got a number in mind I want to hit before I'd consider buying property. I tend to be conservative with risk. That's the shape. No figures.
Good. Scenario 2. 6 months in, she's moving in. You're not splitting rent 50-50 because you earn more and you've offered to cover more. Does she get to know what you earn?
Yes, because the moment money is structuring our living arrangement, she has a right to understand the structure. Not the bank account, but the salary, yeah.
Okay. Scenario 3, 1 year in, you're talking about marriage, seriously. She asks if she can see your account, full picture.
I would ask her why she wants to see it, not defensively, genuinely, because the answer to that question matters. If she says, because I want to make sure you're not lying about who you are, that's one thing. If she says, because I want to plan our future together, that's another. The first one, I'd want to talk more before I shared. The second one, I'd open the laptop right there.
That's really wise. The why changes the answer.
The why always changes the answer.
Okay, my turn. You ask me one.
Okay, scenario. You've been dating someone for 4 months. He's wonderful. Everything is good. And then one night, he tells you, totally unprompted, that he has significant debt, like life-shaping debt. Do you stay?
I stay, but I stay differently.
What does that mean?
It means I don't leave, but the relationship is now different. Because what he's just told me is, here's the real shape of my life, and I have to decide whether I want to build something with the real shape, not the shape I was imagining. And I think I'd want to know how he got there, what he's doing about it, and whether he's the kind of person who runs from it or sits with it. Because the debt isn't the problem. The relationship to the debt is the problem. And I would also, and this is the harder part, I would ask myself, do I have the bandwidth to love someone with this shape? And that's not a cruel question. That's an honest one. Because some people don't. And it's better to know that at 4 months than at 14 years.
Yeah.
But the fact that he told me at 4 months, that earns him a lot of credit. That's the kind of trust that makes a relationship possible.
So the disclosure itself is a deposit.
The disclosure itself is a deposit. See, you keep finding the line. You should be the host.
No way, I'd cry too much.
Okay, we're coming up on time, and I want to land this somewhere honest. Not a clean answer, an honest one.
Yeah.
I came into this conversation thinking financial transparency should be early, like 6 months early. You came in thinking it should be at engagement, and I think we've both moved a little.
I've moved more than you.
You have.
I think where I've landed is the number can wait,
But the willingness to share the number should show up much earlier than I used to think it should, because the willingness is what tells the other person who you are.
Yes, the willingness is the relationship. The number is just the document.
Right.
And for me, where I've moved, I think I used to treat early financial transparency as a kind of test, like show me so I know. And I think you've helped me see that it can be a test even when I don't mean it to be. So maybe what I actually want isn't the number at month 3. Maybe what I want is the texture, how you talk about it, whether you flinch, whether you're honest about what you don't know. That's the real signal.
Texture, not figures.
Texture, not figures.
I like that.
Okay, last question. If you could go back and tell yourself one thing about money and love, what would it be?
I'd tell myself that hiding what you have is the same as hiding what you don't have, and both of them keep you alone.
Wow. What about you?
I think I'd tell myself that asking about money isn't unromantic. It's one of the most romantic things you can do, because you're saying, I want to build something real with you, and real things have numbers in them.
Yeah.
Real things have numbers in them.
Okay, everyone listening, I want to leave you with a question for the week. Not when should you show your bank account? That's the surface question. The deeper one is, what part of yourself are you locking in a drawer because you're scared the person you love won't want the real shape of you? Sit with that. And if you feel brave, open a drawer this week, even a small one.
That's good.
Daniel, thank you. Honestly, this was one of the most thoughtful conversations I've had on this couch.
Thank you for having me and for not asking my salary.
I'll get it next time.
There won't be a next time.
If you've been enjoying the Public Living Room, please subscribe, leave a comment with your own take on this. I read all of them, Sophia and I both do, and share this episode with the friend you've been having this exact fight with. You know who they are. Next week, Sophia is back, and we are getting into something I've wanted to talk about for months: the spark versus stability, why we chase the butterflies even when they're usually anxiety. So bring your overthinking and bring the friend who keeps picking the wrong person. Until then, keep the living room open.